We were pretty excited the other day when our chain showed back up.
It disappeared for a while.
It disappeared for a while and it came back and it's shiny and new now.
Gonna open it up. What did it cost us in total? Like 200 something bucks. That's shipping and galvanizing.
Yeah, it wasn't much at all. It was
37 cents a pound.
37 cents a pound
US
for the
cents.
galvanizing. It was 289 pounds, so I'll let you do that math.
Shipping was like 60 to 70 bucks each way.
It was about 60 bucks there because we underestimated the weight, and about 80 bucks on the way back. We're gonna open it up now.
Yeah, just over 200 bucks for the whole thing. That's pretty good. We're gonna chop it open. Chain. Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks like a shiny like necklace chain or something. A bit bigger though.
G4 it is. And a lot of thanks to Hillary because she called around and did a whole bunch of work talking Spanish, trying to get it all organized.
2 days worth of like just trying to organize stuff once we found the place, and then a lot of calls in between to make sure everything was happening.
And now we see the shipping guys around town everywhere and they just give us rides places.
They do, they're really nice.
Yeah.
G4.
Our dinghy is pretty much almost complete. So we strengthened it up, put in extra thick bulkheads, we've re-gelcoated it, we put in some hopefully kind of water airtight fiberglass and 1/4 inch. I think this is 1/4 inch back here we did. Yeah, and then we've got a little seat back here that we did. Because we're like, yeah, this might not be super comfortable because the dinghy's going to nest. This was our temporary patch for the transom, which we've now beefed up as well. And it kind of works as a little seat. Pretty simple. It's got a gel coat the front section and maybe mess with cleaning up the fender a bit, but I think we're about done on this project.
Yeah,
I just put fiberglass on here just now. And I think I'm actually kind of happy. I think I finally kind of got the idea of how to fiberglass.
Woohoo!
On like the order of things and to go slower, yet faster. So these I'm pretty happy with these corners actually, and I'm pretty happy with the boat.
Good job, you've been doing a really good job on this. Looks
And this
great.
colour match looks pretty decent. I'm curious to see when it dries. Our white or blanco gel coat from our favorite Plasticos y Resinas. And then this is some pigment. This is the blue, azul. And we'll add that to it and match it. That'll give us our blue dinghy. Alright, I just mixed in the blue pigment, the azul with the white gel coat, and that hopefully looks like it'll be a bit of a match to the dinghy. That way we can blend it in and not have to worry about painting the whole thing. I've got my toilet paper in case I've got to run to the loo real quick. And then we're going to give it a shot right now. I think I'm about ready with the hardener and everything in it. That's perfect, look at that. I can't even tell. That's really good. So here's one of the earlier fiberglass jobs I did on the boat, and I didn't like the way it looked. I did this one last week. You can see there's a lot of little divots in there, got a lot of little air pockets. Not happy with that at all, but I just faired it out now with some Cavasil and some polyester resin. Once that cures fully tomorrow, I will sand it back and then we'll gel coat over it. The other one's not too terrible, but this was a much bigger patch. I'm much happier with the one on the other side, which I'll show you now. So we're on the port side right now. This is what I've been working on. This is where the largest section of gel coat cracking, I guess, crazing. It was probably a bit more than what I call crazing. There were some large lines. You can see this was like about 2.5 to 3 feet. I just did the fiberglass on this today. Climb up the rickety scaffolding held together by wire. This one I'm much happier with. I don't see really much air pockets in here at all. Maybe a couple little ones, I don't know, but this one turned out really well. There's probably like 3 or 4 pieces of fiberglass in here, and I only did 1 layer. I'm not going to do 2. I'll sand this back and then we'll gel coat over it and call it good. Obviously we went down here into the boot stripe, so we're going to have to sand this back probably all around. We're thinking about raising the bottom paint here, so raising the water line, so we've got anti-fouling coming up a little bit higher. That's our thought right now, but it sounds like a lot of work as well, so I don't know. And then there's the little section back here. This is one of the smaller sections as well. Pretty happy with how this one turned out. Again, it's just one layer of the fiberglass of the chop strand that we're doing on here. And it's pretty much set up now. I did these this morning, so there shouldn't be many issues with this at all. I will come back and fair these out. I'll sand it back, I'll fair it again like I did on the other side, and then we'll gel coat over it. But pretty happy.
The scarecrow.
This has been a good investment though. Best investment, this hat. Oh my gosh, keeps the sun off good.
After so much hard work, it was nice to finally see a few of our projects making progress and coming together to near completion. The last step in finishing our watertight deck box for our dive compressor that Ty had been working on was mounting it to the deck. Instead of through-bolting it, we opted to fiberglass cleats with bolts embedded into them directly onto the deck. This would save us from having nuts and bolts sticking through into the cabin below, and also avoid any possibility of water leakage or water damage to our cord deck. After grinding back the deck, Ty secured the cleats with a thickened epoxy, filleting around the sides to give a smooth surface for fiberglassing. With the epoxy drying above deck and a bit of shade, Ty moved downstairs to work on our gel coat repairs. After lots of hard work and trial and error, we hoped that this was our final layer of gel coat on the starboard side.
So the gel coating on these two patches was done yesterday. If that's sealed up enough, I'm gonna go and wet sand the gel coat out and it'll be ready for buffing. The two spots behind me here, this one here being the largest one, I did a first fairing on that. I'm gonna sand it back. I'm pretty darn sure it's gonna need another fairing on there as well. The one with the green tape around it, I'm hoping it'll be good to go. I'll sand it back and then I'll be able to gel coat that. So the problem with the weather down here, everything's so hot. I'm constantly moving stuff to keep it in the shadows, especially with the sun sensitive stuff, so the epoxies and so on, trying to keep them out of the heat. This here is the polyester resin in a little milk container, of course, but this one's no good anymore. I'm not going to use it. I used a little bit of it yesterday. I don't want to use it anymore. You probably can't see in there, but it's gone all clumpy. It's not liquid anymore. Too much UV exposure. It seems to kind of self-react or kick off a little bit there. So I'm going to go get some more of this today so I can fiberglass the work we did up on the deck. This is our box for our compressor back here. This is the base. I ground the decks down yesterday underneath the plastic here, and I epoxied the 1x2s on. So this bolt is epoxied right through into the 1x2, which is now epoxied to the deck, and I'll fiberglass it onto the deck as well. This will bolt down, it'll keep it nice and solid hopefully, and this is where we'll keep our compressor. Alright, that is enough time talking to the bloody camera. I gotta get back down to work and start doing a bit of sanding.
Back at work on the varnishing project, and now I'm attacking the inside of the boat. Probably should be stripping everything off and just repainting it, but we're kind of trying to do a quick, easy job here since we have limited time in the boatyard. So as you can see around me here, everything is taped off. We got a bunch of plastic sheeting tape that along both the settees, around the chart table, and also up in the V-berth. Just trying to keep all that dust out of things as best we can, even though it's still going to get everywhere. Alright, so I am all done with my first rough sand of the floor here. I came over it with a block sander 150 grit, and then anywhere it was chipped and cracks in the varnish, I came back by hand. There were quite a few of those spots, and just kind of opened them up and ferreted them out a little bit. Now I'm going to come over with a 320 grit, then clean it up, and then hopefully get my first coat on today. Fingers crossed. It's been taking a little bit longer than expected. In hindsight, it probably would have been easier just to start fresh and strip everything, but kind of like the idea of keeping as much varnish that's in good shape on there, and so we don't have to build it up as much. So what I've done is sanded all of the chipped spots back to bare wood. So I'll come in, my first coat will just be painting over those bare wood pieces, and then I'm going to come back, do a light sand, and do a couple of coats over that on top. While I worked away downstairs, sanding, cleaning, and varnishing, Ty was busy above the deck fiberglassing. With his newly perfected fiberglassing skills, he did a great job laying a layer of glass over each side of the two cleats. The following day, with the first coat of varnish dry, I got back to the repetitive process of lightly sanding, sweeping, cleaning, and then painting on my second layer of varnish. The first full coat of varnish is down on the floor. It's the second coat on the parts that I sanded back. Do one more light sand on it today and do one final coat. So I'm really excited. Looks really good. It's coming together. The hatch boards that pull up, didn't have time to do those right now, but those will be easy enough to pull out and do one or two at a time when we're out on anchor somewhere. Looking forward to not having the floor all chipped up though. Up top, Ty was busy sanding, cleaning, and painting as well. After giving a light sand to the resin and fiberglass that had been applied the previous day, he applied a coat of white Gelcoat, and we were finally able to call that project complete. We were also excited to be getting so close to finishing our Gelcoat repairs on the hull. With all of the Gelcoat applied and set up, Ty was finally able to move on to the final step, wet sanding the area for a smooth finish. Before stowing our shiny new anchor chain, we had two things to do. Mark it with paint for length reference points, and splice on our new additional road. Over the summer, on a trip to San Diego, we picked up 230 feet of 8-strand line. Adding this to our 240 feet of chain would give us many more options and peace of mind for deep water anchorages we plan to visit down the road. It's not food. No food here. No food here. The actual splice was quite easy to follow, but without the proper tools, the process proved to be quite challenging. I spent many hours working the line to try to loosen it and used all sorts of creative tools, from a zip tie to a screwdriver, to try to open up the line. Finally, a borrowed fid that was actually a bit too large for the job helped me to complete a few of the tucks.
We're in Arizona now, on our way to Phoenix Airport. I'm going to fly up to see family for Thanksgiving. Hillary's passed out over there on the other seat. We're both really buggered, and you probably look at. We left Guaymas last night, just before midnight, last night on the bus. We changed buses halfway through. We got off in Nogales, Mexico, so we could redo our visa. We wanted to get a new visa because we were due for one, and we wanted to do it before we headed up, because we found out it's a little bit harder to stop on the way down on the buses to get that done. So we did it on the way up instead. It was easier, and then we just walked across the border, which was really simple. Now we're on a Greyhound bus, $18 from Nogales, Arizona up to Phoenix, Arizona, where we'll board our flight. The cool thing about being on this Greyhound bus from Nogales, Arizona is we have the entire bus to ourselves. So we're spread out. Probably pick up some people up here in Tucson, but for now anyway, we're on the bus by ourselves. But this bus is not even half the bus of the one in Mexico that we had. It's like a Greyhound bus, not very nice.
Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thanks to our patrons who support the making of these videos. If you'd like to learn more about how you can help us continue documenting our journey, please take a moment to check out Patreon and the links in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Until next time, adios. You're not underwater.
Oh.
Well, we're pretty... That's not nice. Look at that beautiful chain.
So beautiful!
That's so pretty!
It's like the Ebenezer Scrooge chain from, you know, what's his name?
It looks
not Bob Marley.